Hey, welcome back, my dear goblins. I'm Unholy. So today, finally, we're talking about Jason Voorhees, the slasher, in the PTB for chapter 14. Look, this is a huge deal. Like, seriously huge. This is the moment so many of us have been waiting for years. I mean, come on. Jason in Dead by Daylight? It's finally happening. And with the 10th anniversary coming up, honestly, this might be the best thing that could possibly happen for the game. Everything I'm about to say is straight from the Dead by Daylight wiki, so none of this is fake, no fake leaks, no clickbait, just the real info you need before this chapter drops. Alright, so I'm going to break this down into 7 parts. 7, yeah. We're going to talk about the lore first, then the power, then the perks, then speed and movement details, then the skins, then my final verdict, and finally the outro. So stick with me till the end. Without further ado, let's get into part 1. Okay, so first, the lore. Let me tell you how it goes. Jason tears open a tent and he thinks there's a camper inside. Classic Jason, right? But instead, he finds the unknown. This weird, deformed creature, and the creature looks at him and asks, "Can you help find my cat?" I'm not joking, that's actually what it says, and then without any warning, it just axes Jason in the chest. Yeah, exactly in the chest. Now here's something I really want to point out. It's so interesting to see the unknown fighting with Jason, like two horror icons just going at each other. The unknown is this creepy, unnatural thing from DVD's original lore, and Jason is, well, Jason. Seeing them face each other in the lore is just really cool, and honestly, Jason's lore here is completely original. It's not just copied from the movies. Behavior wrote something new for him, and I really appreciate that. So they fight, and I mean they fight forever. Jason snaps its neck, nothing happens. He stabs it, and still nothing happens. He cuts its head off with a hacksaw, and guess what? The headless body just keeps attacking. Finally, Jason gets so fed up that he just rips it apart, limb by limb, like full on destroys it. Then the mist turns black. I mean, the entity, you know that. Jason starts seeing visions of survivors running through the forest. He finds, I think, in the lore it means Zarina Cassier. One swing of the machete and she's done. Means she's dead, I think. Yeah, it killed her. The last line of the lore is just in 3 words. Jason is here. And the lore is end. And again, I love that they made his lore original instead of just, reusing a movie scene. Alright, now let's talk about his power. It's called Omnipresent Evil. And it has 3 parts. I'll go through them one by one, okay? The first part, you press the secondary power button, and Jason becomes invisible, like fully invisible. You also get undetectable, so no throw radius, no red stain, and your movement speed jumps to 7.24 meters per second. That's 181% speed. You're so fast. The whole map fills with this thick fog. It looks amazing, by the way. And also, it talks with his iconic Chichi Haha one when he goes through the Omnipresent Evil. And now here's the catch. You cannot see survivors directly, but you're not completely blind. You can see blood pools, you can see footprints if they're walking. If a survivor stands still, you see little mist clouds floating around them. But if they're crouching, you see absolutely nothing. They are completely invisible to you. So good survivors will definitely abuse that. And the second part is the jump scare. While you're invisible, you can aim at a pallet or a breakable wall or a window. The range is up to 16 meters. When you activate it, Jason just reappears instantly. Like out of nowhere. Scary stuff, That's the reason why it's called jump scare. If you targeted a dropped pallet or a breakable wall, you destroy it immediately. If you targeted a window, you vault it and the entity blocks that window for 4. It's really cool. If you targeted an upright pallet that hasn't been dropped yet, it gets blocked for 4 seconds as well. After a jump scare, you get 25 seconds of haste. That brings your walking speed up to 4.6 meters per second. which is exactly normal killer speed. Also, any survivor within 16 meters screams and get killer instinct. Their location is just given to you. But again, if they're crouching, nothing happens to them. So keep that in mind, okay? Third part is throwing spikes. This is the skill shot. And honestly, this is where the fun begins. You start the trial with one hook spike. You can get more hook spikes by interacting with any hook on the map. This is really cool. I mean, this is a really cool mechanic. But there's a price. That hook breaks for 30 seconds. So you have to decide if it's worth it. You also get a free hook spike every time you hit a survivor. And you can collect regular spikes from scrap piles. There are 10 scrap piles on every map, I think, yeah. To throw a spike, you hold the power button, aim, and then press the attack button. Simple, that's right. Now let me tell you what happens when a spike hits a survivor. First, they lose one health state. So if they're healthy, they become injured. If they're injured, they go down. Second, they get pushed backwards, like physically shoved in the direction the spike came from. If they collide with another survivor during that push, that second survivor either gets injured if they were healthy, or gets the wound if they were already injured. So you can hit multiple people with one spike in theory. But here's the really important part. If an injured survivor gets hit by a spike and they hit a wall during the push, they become pinned to that wall. They cannot move at all, and this is what I really like to show you. They're just stuck here and you can walk up and pick them up instantly. No stun, no delay, just grab them. If you hit a survivor with a hook spike, they also get the broken status effect. That means they cannot heal until they remove the spike. Removing it takes 5 seconds. So they're basically one hit away from down for a while. And one more thing, if the survivor is in their final hook stage or is eligible for a finisher mori, and you down them with a hook spike, you can perform a mini-mori on them right there. It's not a full mori animation, but it's still pretty cool, like permitted. So yeah, that's the part. It's a lot. It took me a few games to get used to it, but once it clicks, it all works together really nicely. Alright, let's talk about these perks. It has 3 unique ones. First is Hex Scared to Death. After you hook 3 different survivors, this perk activates on a random totem. From then on, every time you break a pallet during a chase, every survivor within 30 meters screams and gets 13% hindered for 3 seconds. So they're louder and slower. It's really good for shutting down loops. The effect stays until the totem gets cleansed. So it's a Hex perk. High risk, high reward, you know? And the second is Rampage. Every time you break a pallet or a breakable wall, you gain 1 token. So you can have up to 13 tokens. The 13 word is really interesting for this chapter. Then whenever you get blinded by a flashlight or stunned by a pallet, you gain 1% haste for each token you have. That haste lasts 13 seconds. So if you have 13 tokens, that's 13% haste for 13 seconds. That's huge. The perk then has a 20 second cooldown, so survivors who try to bully you with stuns, they're just making you faster. I love this perk. Not really, but yeah, it's an interesting idea. The next one is Silent Shadow. At the very start of the trial, you get 13 seconds of the undetectable. That's it for the early game. But here's where it gets really strong. When the exit gates are powered, you get undetectable for the rest of the match. No time limit, just permanent stealth in the end game. Perfect for ambushes. You can just walk up to the gate and they won't hear you coming. It's so satisfying. But I want to mention that these perks can change in the live server, so don't take it real serious, okay? Let me give you the numbers you actually care about, because I know some of you love the details. Jason's normal movement speed is 4.4 meters per second. That's 110%. So he's slightly slower than the average killer. When you activate Omnipresent Evil, you move at 7.24 meters per second. That's 181% speed. That is very fast. You can cross the map in no time. But be careful, when you're charging a spike to throw, your speed drops to 2.88 meters per second. That's very slow. So you don't just stand out in the open charging a spike. Find cover or make sure nobody's nearby. His turn radius is 32 meters. That's pretty standard. Nothing special there. His height is average, so you can see overloops like some tall killer. You have to play around that. One more thing I almost forgot, after you perform a jump scare, the haste effect brings your walking speed up to 4.6 meters per second. So you become exactly as fast as a normal killer. That's really nice for the 25 seconds after you reappear. Now let's talk about skins because I know you guys care about looking cool. Jason comes with 4 skins in the PTB. The default outfit is from the Jason universe in 2023. It's a modern take on Jason. He has his classic machete with this skin. Backwards Terror and Backwards Horror are both inspired by part 2. You know, the one where Jason has hair and wears a flannel shirt. These are really gritty and old school. I like them a lot. This Forsaken is inspired by part 6, Jason Lives. This is the one where he looks like a skeletal zombie. He's all decayed and gross. And he wears gloves. Very creepy. Depths of Despair is inspired by part 7, The New Blood. He has a chain around his neck in this one. It's a nice detail. Now, here's the important thing. The weapons on these skins are purely cosmetic. They do not change your lunge at distance or your attack speed or your movement speed, so don't worry about that. Just pick whatever looks coolest to you. Axe, machete, or whatever you want to choose. But since you asked, let me tell you my personal favorite. I really love the This Forsaken outfit. That skeletal zombie look is just nasty in the best way. But I also love the axe from Backfoot Terror and the mask from the Backfoot Horror, I think. So what I do is I combine them. This Forsaken dress with the Backfoot Terror axe and the Backfoot Horror mask. Trust me, that combination is so cool. It gives you this ancient on the Jason vibe, but with that gritty part to weapon and mask. It just works. So yeah, mix and match, find what feels right for you. There's no wrong answer. Alright, so what I really think about this killer? Let me be honest with you. I think he's good, really good. He has solid potential and a genuinely interesting power mechanic. The invisible stacking, the spike snipes, the wall pins, it all comes together in a way that feels fresh, but still faithful to who Jason is. He's not just another M1 killer. He has depths, he has skill expressions, and that's what I look for. Now, sorry if I couldn't really talk about the add-ons in this video. They're just so long and detailed. There's a lot of them and honestly, they're pretty straightforward. Nothing too complicated. You'll figure them out in 1 or 2 games. So I didn't want to waste your time reading every single one. But from what I've seen, they're good, decent. The feedback from the PTB has been really solid so far. Nothing feels useless, everything works with his power in a natural way. That said, there are definitely going to be some limitations with him, especially when we see how he performs against really good professional players or survivors. You know, the ones. The 4,000 hour survivors who never make mistakes. High level players know how to counter stealth. They know how to abuse line of sight. They know how to play around projectiles. So we have to wait and see how Jason holds up in those sweaty lobbies. Right now he looks promising, but the real test will come when the best players get their hands on him. I'm curious to see if his invisibility and spikes are enough at the highest level. Yeah? It's really interesting for me. But here's the thing that makes me even more excited. This is Jason Voorhees, an absolute icon of horror, one of the most requested killers ever, yeah? And we're getting him for the 10th anniversary of the Dead by Daylight. It's really fascinating. Also, Matthew Cote himself has hinted that when Jason arrives, we're going to see some real surprises, like a brand new map, probably something like Camp Crystal Lake. That would be amazing. And there's a very good chance we'll get skins from the classic movies. Part 3, Part 7, Jason X maybe. Who knows? What else they have planned? Maybe a new game mode? Maybe a special event? They've been teasing a lot. So yeah, I'm hyped. I think Behavior did a great job with him. He has limitations like any killer. Every killer has weaknesses. But his potential is huge, and I cannot wait to see what else they reveal for the anniversary. Alright, my dear goblins, that's everything you need to know about Jason Voorhees in the PTB. 7 parts, we made it. If you made it this far, thank you, I really appreciate you, seriously. And thank you for watching, thank you for trusting me with your time. I know there are a lot of videos out there, so the fact that you watched this one means a lot to me, thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more of these breakdowns. I'll be covering the anniversary event as soon as news drops. I'll see you later, bye for now.